Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rachel's Leadership Lounge, a space for honest conversations about leadership, growth, and becoming. And today, I want to talk to you about something that has been hitting me and so many people across the country, across the globe lately, and that's layoffs. Okay. Now, maybe you don't know this, maybe you do, but I was impacted by a reduction in force, a layoff, and a sudden shift where I woke up one day with a job and went to bed without one. And one of the hardest things about a layoff isn't that you have to manage your reputation, or it isn't that you're going to miss the people you work with. The hardest thing about it is the identity that has to change as a result. So that's why I'm here today. I want to talk to you all about this. This is serious because I think a lot of people are quietly struggling with this. And what I mean is how you introduce yourself after you've been impacted and you are currently unemployed is probably one of the most common questions I get from people in my network and people in my family and my friends. Rachel, holy smokes, what do I say now? People are going to ask me, so what do you do when I'm out and about? And I don't even know what to say. How do you convey who you are if you no longer have a role, title, or company? One of the strangest parts about career transition, especially after a major shift, whether it's a layoff or you were unexpectedly let go or a reduction in force, it doesn't matter. It's not just about losing the role. It's suddenly not knowing how to even describe yourself anymore. And I'm going to be honest, this is something that I struggled with. I'm navigating this myself right now because for many of us, for years, we worked inside of organizations. When somebody asked us what we did, we could easily say it very quickly. I'm a director, I'm a VP, I'm a senior manager, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm an analyst, whatever. We knew what our title was and who we worked for, and that felt very easy. But then suddenly, one day, the title falls away, the organization changes, the role ends, and then what? When someone asks you then, what do? You freeze. You get nervous. And it's not because you lack value. It's not because you lack experience. It's literally because you're trying to communicate how this current version of you is navigating this season. And some of us don't have words for that. Let's just be honest. Some of us don't have words for that. If somebody said for us, so what are you doing right now? You would probably say, man, I'm unemployed right now. Is that our best response? Is that going to help us with our brand, with our networking, with our visibility, with our confidence at all? In fact, no. The more we have to admit or confess that we don't have a role, we don't have a title, we don't have a company, the more we start to self-criticize. And we get a reputation as well. What does that do for the optics? What does that do for your brand? I know I don't want to lead with I'm unemployed. In fact, that is not the case at all. And I want to help all of you, those of you who are finding yourself in this ambiguous space, with your elevator speech, right? Yeah, you didn't think you'd need one of those anymore, did you? Oh, guess what? You still need one, even this day and age. And not that you're necessarily going to use it in an actual elevator, no, but you're going to use it at the cookout. You're going to use it at the family reunion. You're going to use it at the networking event. You're going to use it as you try to pitch yourself to new employers. So what is your elevator speech? Do you have one? Have you thought about it? This is not your title. This is not your LinkedIn profile. It's deeper than that. All right. And I want to help you all feel confident while you're in this season of transition so that when somebody asks you, so what do? You're actually glad to get the question. You actually see it as a moment to really drop the mic on people. Wouldn't that feel good? I'm here for you. I'm here for you because this is about the story that you tell others. And did you know you get to create that story? Did you know you get to pull the best parts of who you are and package it in a nice, quick 30-second, 1-minute soundbite? That's a great opportunity, all right? But if your confidence has been deeply tied to the role that you used to have or deeply tied to the company you used to work for, and trust me, I get it. Depending on how long you've been with that organization or how great the role was for you, it can feel like the death of a version of yourself. Rachel, I don't know how to explain who I am if I don't attach my former company to it, especially if you spent 15 years there, 12 years there, 20 years there. Who are you when you don't have that name behind your title, that company? One thing I've personally been learning in this season is that your impact does not change just because you've left an organization or you don't hold that title technically anymore. Your value does not leave just because you have left that organization. Sometimes the real growth in leadership is learning how to truly own and speak from your expertise. You're an authority. In fact, more than likely, you don't realize that you're one of the best at what you do. Do you realize how good you are? And are you downplaying that? Have you been sort of making that smaller than it should be? What a great opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves, to really position ourselves at the caliber and level that we truly operate at. So when somebody asks us, what do you do? We're not worried about answering that question. Because if you're struggling with your elevator speech right now, let me simplify it for you. Instead of obsessing over sounding impressive, just focus on 3 things. Who do you help? What transformation do you create? And why does it matter? Okay, this is quick. This is quick. So instead of saying, I used to be a instructional designer for Bed Bath & Beyond, you get to say, I help leaders and organizations build stronger leadership capability through coaching, leadership development, and transformational conversations that help people lead better and greater with confidence and clarity. Right? Now, that sounds pretty strong. That's a mic drop moment. Instead of saying, I used to be, why don't we talk about who we are and who we've always been? Right? So if you use that framework, it'll really help you articulate the transformation that you cause, who you are, the value that you bring. All right. Because that statement still stands. I'm going to stand on business that whether I'm inside a Fortune 500 company or not, that is what I do. That is who I am. And you have the same magic. No matter where you've worked or how long you've worked there, who are you underneath that title? That you could do it anywhere. It doesn't just have to be at the organization you were at. You could create that magic anywhere. That's what I think is important because many of us, we get invited into this season, okay? We didn't maybe ask for it, but God Almighty invited us into this season. All of a sudden, we find ourselves having to express who we are very clearly. What a beautiful opportunity to really own that, okay? Let's start introducing ourselves by the actual impact that we bring, right? And that might feel uncomfortable at first, especially for those of you who have not done this in a while. Maybe you haven't had to do this in years, but it's going to start to feel good. You're going to need to start to practice saying it. It's going to take a little repetition. Yes, I can say it to you in 30 seconds. I had to do this so many times in the last 5 months since I left my role. But it feels good now. When people ask me, I'm actually excited to tell them. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you want to know because by the time I'm done telling you, you will know exactly who Rachel Bolton is and who I help and where I add value. And that makes referrals easier. That makes warm introductions easier. That makes your room name being spoken in rooms you've never been in a lot easier as well. Once they hear you state your value, they will know exactly where to categorize you. It'll be very clear. So if you're in that space right now, I just want you to remember this. You're not starting from scratch. You're actually starting from a lot of experience. And you need to leverage that experience by clearly stating who you are. So if this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who could use this encouragement if they're navigating a career transition or they're in this season of uncertainty and they don't really know how to stand confidently in this new identity. I got you. All right. We need to rebuild our confidence even when we're in these seasons. And I am here for you. Coach Rachel has your back. And if you've been struggling with how to introduce yourself lately, I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts in the comments or send me a message. And thank you for spending time with me. And I'll see you next time on the Leadership Lounge. See ya.